Hey, what indeed is going on, everyone? This is ZacBandicoot here with, and also,
And Dad Bandicoot, otherwise known as Papa Ed, from the Bronx, New York.
we got Papa Ed here. Yep, we were gonna do a green screen originally, but and we actually saw this in theaters together in person. But
Yesterday.
he had a family emergency. He had to leave earlier, and we didn't have time to sit down, set up the green screen, and everything.
Yeah, well, actually, I'll tell you, I had to get back, and I was afraid of the weather. The news
Yep.
reporters had us all paranoid here in New York City that we were going to get hit with a big storm, and I just had to get back before the storm hit. Turns out the storm never actually hit, not the way they predicted. But that was the emergency why I had to run out. We weren't able to do it, so we're doing it. We're doing it via video chat with
Yep.
Zach in New Hampshire and me here in the Bronx, New York.
And I'm using the video editor, put pictures up. So forgive me if it doesn't come out great. I'm still an amateur when it comes to video editing.
Yeah,
But
it'll be fine.
anyway, so we saw, as you see from the title, I kept mentioning the new Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn.
Yeah, yeah. And boy, was that a good time at the movies. Anything that you
Oh
could think of
yeah,
that was wrong with the first, they fixed here. And did they throw at us a plethora of characters right away? It hit the ground running, wouldn't you think?
oh yeah. Like you said it better yourself, it buried the 2016 version.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I have that year right, 2016. Um,
And I tell you, one of the things it does, like a lot of movies do this, where they'll show you uh, practically instant action, and then they'll go back in time and they'll bring you up to that point. But this one not only does that in an expert way, but it brings you up to that point from a different angle and a different point of view. And if you haven't seen it yet, you'll get it when you see it. This was
right.
so masterfully done.
Think
And
think
then
think about a movie like Pulp Fiction, how it's not told in order for the most part.
right, right, right,
Maybe not
right,
the
right.
best example, but it gives you
That
like
was true. I mean,
this happened and this happened
Pulp Fiction was
earlier.
more extreme in its sequence, that it started where it did and then ended in the middle. But you're right. That's the kind of thing where you see something a little bit out of sequence, and then it goes back and fills in the gaps, and it does not get involved with a lot of character background story to slow things down.
Yeah, a great example. Like obviously, you know, with the trailers, Harley Quinn is still Marco Robbie playing her, which is fantastic as always. Um, and like for example, you don't need to know her backstory. They didn't go over her too much because let's face it, most 95% of people seeing this know who Harley Quinn is. She
Right.
knows she's Joker's girlfriend. Like we know Harley Quinn. We don't need to go over her backstory.
Right, right. And then when you think about it, like Bloodsport and when they gave his background, it was given with just a few lines of dialogue.
Yeah,
Just a few lines of dialogue fills it in. You don't have to go back in time and show him as a kid or with his. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had a conversation with him and his daughter when she
exactly.
came to
Yeah.
visit him in jail. You had Amanda Waller, the head of the prison, of the head of the what is it? Is it Argus that she heads in the comic books? Waller, is that part of Argus in the DC universe that runs all this stuff?
I think so.
Okay, it's sort of like the equivalent of Shield, I think. But anyway,
Yeah.
she gave a little bit of background on him, and it fills in the gaps with really just moments of dialogue without having to go into a 20-minute background story.
Yeah, definitely. And if anybody's worried about throwing so many characters, just from the trailers is like so many. But well, I'll
It's
handle this
brilliant.
delicately without spoilers. You don't have to worry about that. Like what, Bob Bell was just explaining, it doesn't waste time with background or anything. And let's just say from the moment it starts, when they first arrive in that little island for their mission, it goes right out of the gate. And you know what? I can say this. This is going to be no surprise. Let's just say some characters won't exactly last too long.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
called the Suicide Squad. It's expected.
There's a lot of death. So
Oh, yeah.
you want to talk about a couple
Oh,
of characters?
in a second, but real quick, we're going to say this is an R rated movie. This is
Oh,
an
I
R
think
rated DC movie. So There's
This is
blood, there's guts. Dude, don't bring your kids. Just don't bring your kids. It's a superhero movie. Do not bring your kids.
this close from being NC-17 for violence. I think it's so
No,
violent.
I wouldn't say that. It's been more
Oh,
violent stuff. but
oh,
anyway, it's definitely but be compared to most other like superhero stuff. Yeah, it definitely had some violence. But as you were saying, yeah, we'll go over some of the characters. So special shout out to certain characters. We're not going to go over all of them, but we're just going to go over, would you say, our favorites?
absolutely. And we couldn't talk about favorite characters without talking about King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
King Shark, Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, we'll go right out of the gate. Let's just mention, well, my personal favorite, King Shark. Voiced by Sylvester Stallone that he just said. I mean, I just saw over the trailers. Any questions? Ah.
So good. And you notice what they did here, which was brilliant with King Shark, is just like with Hulk in the later Avengers movies. Uh, the crowd loves him, but they didn't overuse him.
Yeah.
They made you wait for King Shark, and they used him at, I think, all the right moments. They built the character at such a great pace. And again, they didn't have a background. You didn't see like some guy turned into a shark or whatever. I don't even know his background.
Well, he
Uh,
was always a shark.
there's always a shark. It's always a mutated shark, I guess.
Yeah, it's some kind. I think it's some kind of like sea creature thing. I don't think he was ever a person.
Okay.
But like
Okay.
you said, I didn't show that background because he was originally like a Flash villain. They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, I
show like
remember
any of
because
that.
they have it. They have him, and see in the Flash TV series, it's a guy who became a shark.
Oh, so I'm probably wrong. Probably
Yeah.
this guy
So
became a
so,
shark.
but sometimes these TV series will stray from comic book canon, but in the TV series, it was a guy who became a shark.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I probably got that wrong. Correct me in the
Yeah.
comments. Probably should have
But anyway,
researched more.
King Shark, voiced by Stallone, really, really great.
And he's like nom noms. uh, and
And of course, the only non-criminal, Colonel Flagg, actor Joel Kinnaman, and he actually was the actor who played RoboCop in the 2014 remake.
oh, really? Yeah. Oh, and also he was the same guy, the leader of the group, who played him in the 2016 Suicide Squad.
That's exactly right. Yeah, and so he, of course, was very good, and a very little used character. And this is like a cameo for sci-fi fans. There's a character named TDK played
TDK.
by Nathan Fillion, who was in the original Firefly.
Oh yeah.
So
He has
Firefly
the power to like detach his limbs and his
catches
arms.
his it just goes and the arms start flying
Yeah,
up.
this
Great scene.
this is ever worth mentioning. And oh, I also want to mention a very very reaching for the stars James Gunn did Batman villain, Polka Dot Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was good.
And he shoots polka dots at people. And actually, fun fact, I don't know if I told you about this. He's actually been in some other DC stuff. He was in The Dark Knight. I don't know if you remember that scene in that ambulance where that guy working with Joker.
Oh, I didn't
He was
realize
like
that. I
laughing,
know
giggling.
this actor has voiced Penguin in some of the animated
Yes,
stuff.
and he played a villain in The Flash. He played what's his name?
Oh, I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah, he played a Flash villain. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the name, but he's been in a bunch of other DC stuff. And then he
Well,
gets to be polka dot man with. I don't know. That's
yeah,
what he does. He throws polka dots, and the polka
yeah,
dots like
I
explode.
know.
Yeah,
Really, really, really good. And,
yeah.
and of course, look, John Cena,
Oh,
who has such a great talent for doing action and comedy. The guy
yeah.
has great delivery. His character is so well done.
As Peacemaker.
Oh,
I mean, Peacemaker technically was a hero back in the comics, but I won't give away too much. But they managed to kind of make him a hero-ish type guy, but yet kind of a villain at the same time.
yeah.
You'll
Well,
see
no,
what we mean.
well, yes, but he has a mission where it's patriotic, perhaps gone wrong, but it's still patriotic. It's
Exactly, yeah.
still consistent with his character. And don't forget the end credits. You're going to have after the credits the little end credits, which promises something in the future. So stay after the credits.
Right, definitely stay after the credits. But I mean, he was really fun. He was hilarious.
Oh yeah, it was a well drawn character, and
Yeah, he's a
there's an incredible scene, very violent. Won't give a lot away, where he and
blood
Bloodsport
sport. Yeah.
are sort of in a competition for how many guys they can kill and how fast,
Oh,
kind of,
how fast and the creative way they can kill
and
the
the
guys
creative
too.
way.
They were
Yeah.
just in that because they both
Oh,
have similar powers, turn anything into a deadly weapon. Yeah, Peacemaker best described as a douchey Captain America. Let's describe him that way.
I think that
It's-
yeah. Oh,
and
I think that's
oh yeah,
absolutely.
let's mention let's see, let's mention Ratcatcher.
Oh
Or
yeah,
Ratcatcher 2 rather.
Ratcatcher too. That's right.
So Ratcatcher was originally, I believe, a Batman villain, and he was a guy. But and as you see from the trailers, Ratcatcher's a woman in this, but they explained it. Ratcatcher, the first one, was her dad, and he's dead now. In this movie, and Ratcatcher 2 was his daughter,
Right,
and she
right,
takes
right.
on the mantle of controlling all the rats.
And they do have, and it probably I would think of all the characters, that's the only one that spends a lot of time on flashbacks. Don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah, it's probably the most flashbacks with I guess probably Ratcatcher. Yeah, but we won't get too much away. But there's good reason for that. And there's some good interaction with her, some other characters like her with King Shark, her with Bloodsport. You'll see.
Yep, yep.
And oh, by the way, as I know you were saying earlier, if you have a phobia of rats, yeah, brace yourself.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you really have a phobia of seeing rats on screen, I the Suicide Squad is not going to be a movie for you.
Ungodly the amount of rats that will appear on screen with Ratcatcher.
Yeah, yeah. And I always have a little bit of trouble pronouncing his name. Ratcatcher, the dad in the flashbacks, is played by Taika Waititi. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Taika Waititi, who does the voice of Korg in Thor Ragnarok,
Yeah,
and
the rock guy.
I think Korg even appears in the Avengers, right? When Endgame, when
Endgame, yeah. He was
Thor is
playing. He was playing the video games with
right,
Thor, and
buddy, that's right, right, right. So just a little bit of an aside, if you have an opportunity to see Korg and Deadpool review the trailer of or react to the trailer of Free Guy, that's a real treat. A little bit of a digression there, but this Waititi is a very talented director, actor, and it's
Mhm.
always fun to see him.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll mention Bloodsport, played by
Idris Alba.
Idris Alba. Yeah, he is so cool. He always plays a cool, badass character.
I gotta tell you, anything I see him in, I enjoy. This Idris
Yeah.
Alba. There's a BBC production called Luther where he plays a detective, kind
Mhm.
of goes his own way, rough and tumble detective in England. I think in the greater London area.
Oh,
Fantastic. It's called Luther, and
I've
of course,
heard of that. I hear that's really good.
yeah, and of
I'm
course
gonna
it's
check that out.
typical English TV where the seasons of 6 episodes, but it's so good.
But anyway, so basically, Bloodsport, he's basically Deadshot, who was played by Will Smith in the
Yeah,
26 one.
yeah.
He's almost like Deadshot, pretty similar. They're almost the same character. They're both from DC. It's pretty weird, but I mean, it's interesting how they want to bring Bloodsport in instead of Deadshot again. And I mean, he's pretty much the kind of the main bad
Yeah, yeah.
guy and
I think
protagonist, whatever you want to call him, of
Yeah,
the movie.
I think you follow him. I mean, I guess if you had to
Hmm.
sort of balances between him and Harley Quinn,
Well,
uh,
maybe him and Ratcatcher actually. Harley Quinn. We'll get to her in a second, of course, but she really wasn't the whole main character if you think about it.
no,
I
no,
say
no, no.
it's between Ratcatcher and Bloodsport for the
Yeah, well,
main
now that you mentioned that, probably you could probably put
or
Harley.
three way.
You could probably put Harley Quinn.
Plus
I think it would be
Ratcatcher.
fair. You could put her in the same category as King Shark, in that it's a fan favorite. You love when it comes around,
Yeah, exactly.
for it to come around. But as far as the plot of the movie, I think you're absolutely right.
But I see. So we're mentioning Harley Quinn now, as we said. Now they didn't get too much on her backstory, and she's had some great scenes. She was a very essential part of the movie. So don't get
Cool.
me wrong,
Yeah.
but she wasn't like the main focus. Not like maybe which I didn't see yet. Might check it out, Birds of Prey or whatever. But But for when she is in though, for the stuff she does, it is amazing. I think personally, I think this was the best version, still played by Margot Robbie, of course, but the best version of Harley Quinn we saw on screen thus far, in my opinion. I mean, it is awesome stuff she does, especially when she fights some of the fights a bunch of the bad guys, stuff like that. I don't want to get too into it
Oh
without
yeah, yeah,
spoilers.
yeah. No, but there is a scene where they're torturing her, and obviously she's the main character, so she's
Yeah.
gonna get. And that scene when she gets away, it's like John Wick stuff. I mean, it,
Oh yeah.
whenever I see a film and I critique a film, I usually use the expression this is worth the price of admission, and her scene alone is worth the price of admission. I
Yes.
would pay a ticket price to see that scene. It is so good.
So
I,
let's take Guardians of the Galaxy and John Wick, and let's mix it to a blender, and there you go. Which makes sense because James Gunn did Guardians of the Galaxy,
well, it's
and
it's
definitely has that same, well, not same, but
well,
some
it
vibes when
does
it
have
comes
the
to
humor. It does
the
have the
humor.
humor.
Yes.
Humor permeates this thing throughout, which you don't get in a lot of DC films, where they find that blend of humor and action, a little bit of drama because you have your typical dramatic turns and those kinds of things that aren't anything new. They're common plot points in films, especially action films. But this one blends and weaves the comedy throughout so well, and it's not overdone to the point where it just becomes a cartoon and a stupid thing.
Yeah.
It maintains the action, maintains the pace, um, of a good film of that type, but lots and lots of funny moments. And I
No.
can't believe it was something. It was. I mean, I don't. I'm not squeamish when it comes to violent films, but this had a lot of moments
Well,
like
you know
wow.
what? For a superhero thing, especially DC, which we don't get a lot of R-rated stuff for these days, it was
Yeah,
surprising for what it was. If that makes any sense.
yeah.
Like you knew it was rated R, but you didn't expect them to really go out with the violence,
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
which
Yeah.
it does. There's dismemberment, explosion, tearing apart,
Yeah. Yeah.
you name it, stabbing, shooting, and
Yep. Yep.
it is all back of the details there. And as you
There's
see
all
from as you see from the trailers, it features like as you can tell from the trailers, the main villain, a creature called Starro,
yeah. Yeah.
which was a major DC villain back in the day, which is actually real. You know, the trailer you see the guy going, "There's a freaking kaiju." Starro, like is from space, controls people with the little starfish it sends out, attaches to their face. Uh,
And it lives up to the trailer, meaning sometimes you'll see movies where the trailer gets you excited, and that was about it. You could have just watched the trailer, and the movie itself didn't give you
that's
much
something.
more than the trailer. This one delivers
Ooh,
in
like
that
what? I'm sorry, like what? Batman versus Superman did with uh, uh,
Ben Affleck.
no, like a Batman versus Superman did with the villain. Uh,
I mean, not
Doomsday.
Doomsday. Oh yeah,
Like they
yeah,
do with
yeah.
that villain Doomsday. So I was totally blanking on the name. Like with Doomsday, like he was in the trailer too. We knew he was going to be there, but he was there for like literally the end, and
Yeah,
like right away he gets defeated.
yeah.
So as he was saying, it's not that way with Starro at all. First of all, Starro was mentioned throughout the movie. That's the main plot point of what they're trying to
Right,
stop for the
right. And
mission.
they show him in the trailer.
Exactly. And well, like you were saying, that wasn't it for the trailer. Like, first of all, it's throughout the movie, and then when he does show up, it's not that one part you saw for the trailer either. There's longer parts, good
Right,
fight with him, and
right.
there's still dialogue with Starro, or the way Starro communicates, which I won't give away. You'll see.
Right. So if you get
And
excited by the trailer, it will live up to it, and
yeah,
you won't be disappointed.
so that's what we're saying. The trailer, trust me, that is not it. There's plenty of more. They didn't give away all the best stuff in the trailer. They do with so many movies.
Right, and there was so many actors. I know we talked about this in the very beginning, but when you see, gosh, I have to look up his name. Oh yeah, Michael Rooker, who played Savant. I mean, he was in The Walking Dead. He
Yeah.
was in a main character in that. He was, of course, was it Randu? What's his name in
Oh, Yandu,
Yandu, which had a
of
great
course.
scene in Guardians of
Arrow
the
guy,
Galaxy.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's also famous for a horror movie he did, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Well, this guy is good, and
Yeah, and,
he's a top rated actor, and here he is playing this part. He's one of the first characters you see in the film.
oh yeah, and we mentioned Weasel, right? That crazy looking thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know the actor who did the stop motion for that and the voice was also the same actor who played Calendar Man, because you get a cameo of Calendar Man in the prison.
Yeah, Calendar Man, and someone next to him. I didn't quite get who that was. But yeah, you get Calendar Man for a Batman villain. He does like crimes depending on the holiday or month it is. And yeah, but anyway, so won this pretty soon. You know, it was a fun movie, and I think it was refreshing to see. I do not get into politics on my channel, but I'm gonna I'm gonna avoid using certain words. I'm gonna put it this way: it's refreshing to see a movie that doesn't push any message down your throat based on the agenda of the director, no matter what it might be. And it's nice to see that. It's nice to see something that's just pure fun, fun movie.
Yep.
Like anybody can enjoy. Anybody of any belief or background can just go and enjoy. Like it's
Yep.
refreshing to see that. And DC, please take note from this. How it was fun. Like you have it over Marvel right now. You really do, because
That's right.
Marvel's starting to slow down. So come on,
Well,
DC, take a note.
I understand exactly what you're talking about because, listen, anybody who wants a political agenda can get it anytime by turning on the news or looking online,
Yeah,
and they can get their fill of that.
yeah,
There's no reason to push a political agenda in a film. Now, as far as the message, well,
yeah. And you go to and
you can't have a movie without a message. There's messages even in something like this. There's camaraderie. There's good versus evil.
yeah,
There's self-sacrifice, or endangering your life to save a friend or a comrade. All those little messages are in there, and those are the things that make movies great. That's why Pixar films are so
yeah,
great.
right. But it doesn't push any major political
But it's
agenda or
no
anything.
major
Which
agenda, no
yeah,
major.
exactly. Because you go to movies, entertainment to escape that stuff, not to be reminded of it again. Because
Yeah,
you want to escape. You want to not think about the world or what's going on
absolutely.
right now.
You know, think about the world the way it is, and
Yeah.
there's plenty of opportunity for that, and that's why I think this movie deserves the accolades as being a real hit. I enjoyed it. I was very happy to see, because we saw it in the theaters, even though it was available on HBO, so we could have
Yeah.
watched it for free.
Yeah.
We wanted to go to the movies. We went to a theater, to a Regal, got some popcorn. At least I did, and we got in the recliner seats and watched it with other people. And there was a pretty good crowd of people
Pretty
as
good
far as
crowd, yeah. And everyone
so.
was enjoying it. People were clapping. It was a good time. So
And that was really nice to see when something's been out, because I don't know, has this been out now for 2 weeks or so?
I think
Um,
so. Yeah.
yeah, so it is nice to see that when a movie's been out for 2 weeks, we saw a 4 o'clock show. That there was a pretty good crowd in the theater for 4 o'clock for a movie that's been out for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
And yeah. And so overall verdict rating.
Well, it's interesting because when I rate movies, I know there's an overall rating, but sometimes I segment it in my mind, and like if I was doing 10 out of 10 or 5 out of 5 for just comic book action, I would give this 10 or 5. And then of course if you want to look at other things, you look for a lot of things in movies. You look for emotional payoff. You look for a lot of things. I would still say overall, especially for this type of film, I don't know. What do you think? 8?
Well, if I was looking at everything, yeah, when it comes to action, entertainment, obviously it gets a 10 there. But there's some stuff like it was slow at times, and story itself, which we don't care too much about that, seeing a movie like this, but didn't
No,
make too much sense at
they're
times. And
not complex.
I wish I saw more from other like characters in there. I wish there was more references to the heroes of DC, like Batman, Flash. I wish there was a little more of that. But overall, putting all that together, I'm gonna give this a very solid 8 out of 10. I'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it, and I agree with some references to the DC universe heroes would have been okay. And you know, it's interesting too. Just one last thing, while we're talking about other DC heroes, is so many times when you're watching a DC film or TV show, when the hero is having such a hard time winning, you ask yourself, why didn't they just send Superman?
Yeah.
This would have been nothing for Superman. But I'll tell you something. In this, you can tell why Amanda Waller would not send Superman. Because when it comes to Superman, don't forget, Superman is not only the strongest person in the universe, he's the most ethical person as well.
Yeah, you'll see what we mean by that. It makes sense
Yes,
why
right,
he
right.
would
So,
go in.
so it makes sense that, well, you couldn't send Superman. Superman wouldn't. He has a certain ethic. He's so. To me, that satisfies this question that always pops up in my mind.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just send Superman?
For anything. Says Superman for everything, yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, well, that concludes this review. And I apologize I didn't get this up as soon as I thought, but circumstances changed, so like I said, I had to edit the video.
yep.
But
Next one we'll do in person. I think we'll try to do something pretty soon.
yeah, we'll do something in person, don't worry. Maybe even the next Venom movie coming out.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll work that out. But anyway, well, this has been Zach Bandicoot.
And Papa Ed.
And well, till next time. Um, so I'll be on. So I'll be looking to be on Twitch. I'd say. Well, I'll be streaming on Twitch now. I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded, so. But I'll be streaming on Twitch for now. Twitch for time being. So I'm going to if anyone wants to help me out with that. Look forward to future reviews. So the next time, everyone, this has been Zach Bandicoot and
Papa Ed.
now the next time, everyone. Whoa! You all have a good one. Thank you so much for watching.